Hi, I'm Anusia Gillespie, and we just came out of the spotlight session at the LMA on Rule 5.4 with Bill Henderson, law professor at Indiana University, and Scott Westfahl, faculty director at Harvard Law School Executive Education. We have about 5 minutes to get through about 45 minutes of content that they just shared, so I have my notes here to make this really valuable for you. So Bill, to start with you, what is Rule 5.4? Could you give us a brief history as to why we're talking about that here today?
Rule 5.4 comes from the Model Rules of Professional Conduct put forward by the ABA, and it lists the provisions for lawyer independence, and the key one for the purposes of the talk we just gave was a prohibition on lawyers sharing equity with non-lawyers in any businesses engaged in the practice of law. So it keeps partners from co-venturing with talented allied professionals.
And Scott, why should this audience or law firm audiences in general or the market care about the changing Rule 5.4?
Yeah, what Bill and I have been talking about is the difference between a hierarchical pyramid structure organization and a pancake organization where allied professionals and teams of talented people, some of whom are lawyers, some are not lawyers, we never say non-lawyers, by the way, allied professionals, solve problems together and create the kind of team that delivers a multidisciplinary, better legal product.
Mm-hmm. And Bill, you've come out before saying, I didn't think this rule was going to change. Maybe you didn't say naysayer, but I would say that. And now all of a sudden you're kind of on the other side of that. What's changed? Why now?
So I had a long-standing debate with my friend Jillian Hatfield, who was always saying we got to change the rules. And I said, Jillian, the rules are never going to change here. We need to work within the existing rules to innovate. And then one day the California bar called me up and said, would you be willing to write this landscape report? And then it occurred to me, if any jurisdiction was ever going to go first and set the template by which that the rest of the country would follow, it would be California. And I saw a huge opportunity for the state of California to look at their access to justice issue and change the rules for the benefit of all the citizenry. And so I called up Jillian and I apologized to her last month. It's true.
That's funny.
And Scott, in terms of what's on the line here,
for a law faculty member to apologize, that's why Bill is who he is. He's
and to say it live.
Exactly.
You've been on the business side of a law firm. What's at stake here in terms of equity partnership? What would that have meant to you when you worked on the business side?
Well, the degree of respect with which allied professionals are treated at law firms, varies significantly, but fundamentally, there's always a feeling that you're overhead. And no matter what, when you're coming into work every day and you're trying to generate revenue for the firm, you're trying to make it a better organization for all of the purposes for which it exists. And some of the partners, at least, look at you as if you're taking money from their pocket every day. It's really a terrible feeling, and demotivating. By contrast, I was at McKinsey for 6 years in an allied professional role, and they treated me with enormous respect as a partner. And I never felt that there was a difference.
Okay. And I guess to either of you, who's going to drive this change? Is it going to be the Big Four? Is it going to be lawyers themselves? Is it going to be access to justice? Or could it be this group kind of coming forth and pushing for change?
Well, I think that the solution is going to come about probably before the new rule is up and running. I think that the message that Scott and I delivered would be the solution is collaboration to deliver the superior product and build trust and collaboration with within existing law firm structures. But the companies like Elevate or the Big Four here, they already have the advantage of this structure here, and they're putting huge pressure on the law firm market here. And we actually feel like that the marketing folks are a great point of entry because they really do see the problem. The idea would be they're involved in a conspiracy to make the partners more money and work less, but they actually need to have the time to actually be listened to. So I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. And I'll add to that too that the talent market is going to put increasing pressure. Yeah. Millennials want a different way of working. They want to work collaboratively. They've been doing it their whole lives, and they use collaborative technology in all their classes. They're not at law school classes. We're trying to change that at law school too, and have lawyers work in teams and train them how to work in teams in law school, because that's one of the huge missing components and why this isn't happening. But I think the talent market's going to put a lot of pressure on this to change too.
Once you've been part of that innovative team, you'll never want to go back.
Yeah, and that's the pancake versus the pyramid. So for people who need explanation of pancake versus pyramid, can you give that snippet that you left us with? Don't wait for the rule to change. Develop a pancake within your pyramid, and once you've been part of a pancake, you never want to go back. So can you translate that for this audience?
The basic idea here is find a coalition of the willing, an open-minded partner, a group of partners, some clients that want to go on this journey with you, and ask for a way to build an organization that without a hierarchy, where the best ideas win, everybody is listened to, there's psychological safety, and the end product to that is going to delight the client, that the firm is going to realize, oh, there's a huge opportunity. We could scale this throughout our whole organization.
And I know that there are teams that are already doing. There are some lawyers out there doing it in the executive leadership programs we run for law firm partners. We're training them in this. I worked with one firm, and I was describing how a team ought to work at a law firm. They don't actually work in teams; they work in hierarchical, loose working groups. But they said we had a partner who did all that stuff, and the associates loved it, and the clients loved him. I said, "Where is he? Can I talk to him?" "Oh, he left." So they have to find bright spots and leverage it. They didn't see the opportunity there, but I think they're going to wake up to it.
Wonderful.
Someday they're going to stay.
So, yeah.
The opportunity is great here. The opportunity for law firms in particular, they have these wonderful trusting relationships with their clients. Their clients are open to this here. It's going to happen. It's probably going to happen over the next 10 to 15 years. So people like you are going to drive the change
Push
here.
it forward. Exactly. All of us working together.
Yeah.
Pancake.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. And Scott Westfahl, I know this was a big plenary session, and so there wasn't a lot of opportunity for questions and answers. And so there's a session at, I think, 11:15 with Scott Westfahl where people can dig into these kinds of conversations and get their questions answered. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.